MIT has a long history of cancer research. It was formally organized as a cancer research center in the early 1970s, shortly following the now famous Nixon War on Cancer, the National Cancer Act of 1971. MIT applied for and received funds to create a dedicated cancer research center on our campus. And that was organized by Salvador Luria, who was a Nobel Prize-winning geneticist. And he went about hiring a remarkable collection of individuals to work with him in the Center for Cancer Research. Included among those were David Baltimore, Phil Sharp, Nancy Hopkins, Richard Hines, Bob Weinberg, and others. And that group of people and those who followed them in the Center for Cancer Research made a series of discoveries over 3 decades or so, which in my view helped lay the foundation for the current era of molecular oncology, studying cancer at the molecular level. And among the important discoveries that were made by MIT cancer researchers were the discovery of the first human oncogene by Bob Weinberg's lab, the description of reverse transcriptase, an important enzyme in retroviruses, which is now an important target for antiviral therapy, including for HIV. Phil Sharp's discovery of split genes and the process of RNA splicing. Various projects which led ultimately to new drugs that treat cancer at the molecular level, treat alterations in cancer cells specifically, as opposed to simply trying to wipe those cells out indiscriminately. And notable achievements there were David Baltimore's description of the activity of the Abl kinase, which is now the target of the drug Gleevec, and Bob Weinberg's discovery of the HER2 new oncogene, which is now the target of the drug Herceptin, 2 blockbuster anti-cancer drugs that were really the first in the current era of targeted anti-cancer agents. Yeah, so the evolution of the MIT Center for Cancer Research to now the Koch Institute took place really over the last 10 years or so. Starting about 10 years ago, we began to think about the next generation of cancer research at MIT, and importantly began to think about how we could interact more extensively and more substantively with colleagues from other disciplines and from other departments. The research focus of the MIT Center for Cancer Research was very much oriented towards biology, the understanding of cells and genes and proteins. And starting around 10 years ago, first with Richard Hines as director, and then when I started as director, we began to interact with a broader collection of MIT faculty, including Doug Laufenberger from biological engineering, Bob Langer from chemical engineering. These are individuals who think about the cancer problem in different ways and approach cancer research using different tools and really different approaches. So we began to reach out and interact with those individuals, initially with funding from the National Cancer Institute, which was oriented towards bringing more diverse types of investigators together to approach the cancer problem. And so we received funding from the NCI for systems biology efforts and for nanotechnology efforts. And based on the strength of that set of interactions, we decided that it made sense to broaden the physical incarnation of MIT's cancer research effort to include not just traditional cancer scientists, but also cancer-oriented engineers. And so the Koch Institute concept was to bring together this diverse collection of investigators, roughly in equal numbers, who were approaching the problem from the biology side, but also approaching it from the engineering side. And we received tremendous support along the way, including from Susan Hockfield and other members of the MIT administration, and of course from David Koch himself, who ultimately provided tremendous financial support for the building of the new institute, which houses that diverse collection of investigators.